Hey everyone,
That really
welcome
is
back
you,
to
Tyler.
22 Panels, the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I was caught off guard because Tad and Phil were chatting,
It's
and
getting heated.
I was
It's a
just
heated
writing,
summer
and
here at
I
22
all of a
panels.
sudden I hear it being recorded. I'm like, time to go.
Well, and for a
How
second there, it sounded like you were like waiting for me to start the episode. And I'm like, I do that a lot now, but not when you're here, Tyler.
You're
no,
still number one chair, man.
I'm st no, I'm writing because I am filling out what my picks were for this week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, last minute
Yeah.
scramble. That was
So,
No,
fun.
so
Ooh, little teaser.
I
while
had
he's doing
it.
that, we'll jump into some news.
Okay, okay.
Uh, some academic who I don't feel like naming because I don't want to remember their name, um, has decided to be really mad at Tilly Walden for supposedly stealing their book. And what it seems like to me is that yes, Tilly Walden used their book a fair amount because it's the only book on the subject, but she also used the actual materials that they both used quite a bit. And like Tilly's just gotten more attention, and the academics' friends brought that to her attention, and she decided to go to Facebook
Right.
instead of like Drawn and Quarterly or Tilly. Um,
And
which
this is
bothers me even more because Drawn and Quarterly and by the academic's own admission, it sounds like Drawn
mhm,
and
mhm.
Quarterly and Tilly have tried to involve her at every step of the way.
Absolutely. There's been communication throughout
Um,
the whole publishing process. I
right.
was just gonna, in defense, it sounded like initially there were slams of like, you stole my story type situation, which my immediate gut reaction was, well, first of all, I don't think that's what happened. But second of all, like developing a graphic novel, even on the same subject, is going to require a lot of different research to create a
Different
visual,
research.
yeah, the visual
Right.
elements of the world. And like
Right.
it's one of those things where I'm still looking forward to reading this book. If for whatever
I have
reason,
my copy, but I haven't read it. But yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. Um, Maybe,
Durf had a good thread on Blue Sky. It sounds like Alex DeCampi did too, that
yeah.
while not slamming Tilly or the publisher, also kind of laid out things for other
Yeah,
people who are making this kind of book to like think about in advance to just avoid this
absolutely.
kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Um, the one thing that I will say is academic writing needs to get way more attention.
Yeah,
Um, I would love to see lots of graphic novels based on academic writing.
same.
But you know what? You want that to happen? The people that need to do it are the university presses.
Yeah, that does
You
seem like
shouldn't
that's where the
be
right start.
asking, you shouldn't be asked, if you want more graphic novels of academic work, you don't ask subsistence level artists to make them on spec. You
Right.
pay a
Whew.
decent page rate and you make them together.
And like that's the thing that's great is like that if any of those academic texts are being taught in class, that would inherently be a
Right.
fantastic teaching tool
I
of a
I mean,
graphic novel
I
version of
like the one thing that I haven't seen anywhere is like Oxford University Press,
it.
as soon as Tilly reached out, could have said, "Hey, can we give you more money and can you publish it through us?"
Right? How cool would that have been?
It
And
could have been a companion book. I
oh yeah,
don't like if that offer had been made, I like I'm certain there would have been room for something to happen. But it sounds like nobody in academia took it seriously until it was popular.
and it also sounds like the kind of thing that, if you're a young creator observing the situation from afar and like there's something you might be worried about happening with your book in the future, cover your bases, like
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
hard to do
but
that. It's hard to do
I mean,
that when you don't know what the
yes,
bases are.
yes, and this is why it's always worth having an agent or a lawyer, particularly if they work on a percentage rather than, you know, but also, I mean, the sad side is if you're a young creator and whatnot, what you should
Mhm.
really do, is think twice before what you do is anything other than pure fiction that you own the rights to,
It's
because
tough.
I mean,
I
I
would,
hate to say those words because
yeah,
I know lots of people who like to do nonfiction comics, but
totally.
like, yeah.
And
But
yeah,
on the way happier news for young creators, Thought Bubble and Traveling Man, which I think is a game publisher, have reteamed to present 400-pound micro bursaries, which I assume is the British word for grant.
I'd
Um,
never heard of bursaries before, that's for sure.
well, I know
No.
I know the bursar's office at college is where you pay. So I assume it has
Um,
something to do with money. And this
mhm.
is like 400 pounds in cash that you'll get, as well as a free table at Thought Bubble for nine
Nice.
UK-based early career comic creators, three with disabilities, three people of color, and three
Heck
trans
yeah.
slash non-binary. So this is a cool thing. The table itself is amazing, but the $400 in cash probably means that you can get to and or have a place to stay at Thought Bubble, because depending on where you are in your comics career, just having a table is only one part of doing a con.
Right.
um, so what kind of week has it been? Have you guys seen the Great American State Fair?
I think,
I did.
oh,
Uh, I
it's
don't know
best
if you,
viewed indirectly.
I
I
don't know
think
if you
that's the
guys
only way
believe.
anybody's viewed it.
Right.
I don't
I
know
Oh,
if
mean,
you
Fox
guys.
News was on location there, and you could see like a
they
person behind
they were the
you.
only ones.
Okay, so do you believe your eyes or do you believe what the administration is saying as far as the hundreds of thousands of people?
Well, I mean, I did see. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. We'll for those of you listening at home and not being able to see the screen, which is all of you, because we don't
We have yet
we
to
don't
pivot to
post
video.
video. Right. J Quo's status quo in its skeets and giggles yesterday definitely had my favorite pick of the state fair. Let me pull it up and share it on screen. There we go.
And before that loads up, my favorite bit of how this week has been: the heat wave has been caused by the gates of hell yawning open for Mitch McConnell's body.
Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
that's possible. See, lots of people at the state fair.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see them. They're not wearing any clothes, and some of their heads
Uh,
are slightly detached from their bodies because they might be stick figures, but they're there all right.
they might be stick figures.
I mean, this feels like an official White House photo to me, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you know, it's looking more official than the AI videos coming out of the White House, that's for sure.
Honestly, it's the most official thing they put out.
With there's
This
John
this
Travolta from Pulp Fiction wandering around the White House lawn.
this
Yeah,
is
that
also
was funny.
good. The horse whisperer on probably X wanted to get the vibe of going to Trump's state fair, but didn't want to drive all the way to DC, so he just went out and stood in an empty field.
Yep. Oh man. Whew. You know, it's really funny when over the weekend hearing about, oh, people might be going crazy because it's the 250 for 4th of July.
It
And
was
I'm like,
called Freedom 250 because that's how many people
yeah,
went.
and I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, who's excited for America right now? Like, who is going balls to the wall? Like, yes, I am
Well,
here
I
for the
mean,
250 celebration.
also, like in Montana, did they pay for the? I want to know how many government dollars got paid to have matching wardrobe on all the guys behind him.
Oh,
Oh,
you
that
mean
looks good.
we don't have
And
a
they're
government?
wearing flannel. They've got to be hot as fuck.
Oh yeah, we don't have a government official cowboy
Are
uniform. Are you
they
kidding me?
are they
Did
wearing
you see this
Confederacy crap?
I did not.
outside of Cleveland?
Someday a mortician gets to super glue his lips shut. Oh, not a day too soon. Holy shit.
There's an Trump Epstein and a Trump Netanyahu picture next to it too.
Wow. Yep.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that sums it up. Um,
Uh,
you know,
but then the other one is like when you can see here's the Fox News desk and there's the state fair behind them.
right? Absolutely
It's
nobody.
just empty. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It may as well be an empty soccer pitch, you know? It's just it's sad.
No, no, there's one person down in
Okay.
the corner here.
Right,
The
you
fair
know.
the Ferris wheel is there, so that's all right.
Apparently, the Ferris wheel broke a couple of times.
Due to what?
Not surprising.
Inactivity?
I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to keep those things rolling or else they
You
just
got to
sink.
keep them well lubed.
Lots of melting ice cream. Um, yeah, we the all American State Fair has been I mean
A
it's been
disaster?
very manga.
You know,
It
it's
didn't,
about
you know.
it's probably the average quality of every parking lot fair I've seen in my life, you know, just on the White House lawn.
Was it on the White House lawn or was it on the National Mall? I thought it was on the National Mall.
Probably National Mall. I don't like
Only they
I
had to
don't
keep it away. They had to keep it away from the reflecting pool because,
you know,
it's not
somehow
reflecting very well.
exactly. It's
And I want to, and
the
we're going to get into
the opaque
this.
field.
We're going to get into this obviously for our main event. I want to make it clear. I do love my country. I am, by and large, proud to be an American. I am embarrassed that these other people also claim to be proud to be Americans. What goes through my head a lot is Gandhi actually listed Jesus Christ as a major influence and said on more than one occasion that I could
Mhm.
have been a Christian if not for the Christians that I've known.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll say I'm a born and bred American, and I'd say it louder if not for some of the other Americans that I
I
know.
guess for me, it's more like if I were able to choose, I don't think I'd choose this. You know, that's kind of where I
I mean,
land on it.
that's entirely possible, but would you have
Yeah.
said that in 2010?
2010, no, I would not have said that in 2010.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, uh,
I guess the disillusionment is feeling way harsher now than it did in 2010.
I get that, and I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah.
I understand, but like, there aren't a lot of countries that haven't gone through similar ups and downs over a 15-year
That's true.
period. I
There
mean,
is no
this is
perfect
why
country
my
out there.
pride in the country has to do with the whole of the country, the whole of the story of the country. Now, again, I get really frustrated when we want to paper over all of the bad stuff rather than learn
Yes,
from
no, no,
it.
no. No,
But
I don't think you're blindly patriotic, that's for sure.
but with few exceptions, the United States actually has a better track record for learning from their past than papering over it.
Yeah.
You,
Better.
you know.
An
Just not
interesting
right
argument.
now.
Just
Right now,
not right now for
Just
sure.
yeah, not
It's
this particular period.
it's a
not
hard
this moment in
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Guys,
But
this
then the other
Not this
thing that
brand new
I
day either.
we're like, as far as lots of nation I mean, as far as nations go,
Hmm.
particularly like big nations, we're a fucking toddler.
Yeah.
We're
yeah,
having our
true.
250th anniversary. China's been around for 3,000 years.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They've certainly had a tumultuous history, but they've been around.
Britain's
They've
been
united.
around for almost 2,000 years.
One might even
Mm-hmm.
argue longer if you're just talking about the land itself.
Well, no, the land itself,
Yeah.
obviously, but we've been around for more than 250 years for the land
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But
That
like,
was me being
but
silly.
there's been like one semi-consistent government for
Yeah.
almost 2,000 years. I
Yeah.
mean, there were brief times where Britain and France were kind of the same country, but never long enough that like you could quite say that France had conquered Britain or Britain had conquered France.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a bit of
You know what I
back and
mean?
forth going on there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Germany's been around for thousand some odd years. Russia's been around for 1,000 some odd years. India's been around for 1,000 some odd years. It took time for it to kind of congeal into one country, and it was, overrun for a while by the Brits. Egypt has been around for Iran has been
Hmm.
around on one level or another.
Hmm. And I guess on that level, like as I was thinking about the things that I value about being an American, or might say that I find pride in being American, ultimately they're just things that I appreciate about being human. Like that's one of
Yeah.
the things of my perspective. I try to shift to, one people, one planet. Like the
And I'm gonna be definitely hitting on that as well.
cool, yeah, absolutely.
You know, uh,
But before that,
so before that, let's do some new to order this month with initial orders due on July 23rd. Since since Tyler didn't jump on top of the Elliot Royale book in the first couple of weeks, it was up there. I'm finally going to do it.
Yep.
Crimes
Yep. Do
Against
it.
Nature, #1 from Elliot Royale and Matteo Monaco. You do need to arrange for us to talk to Elliot, and you should have him come out to your shop on September 23rd to launch his book. I'm just giving you free advice here.
I'll
Um,
do it.
a famous Hollywood
Shoot.
trainer, Dr. Kermit Grodin, and his only client slash best friend, Amigo the Ape, the first gorilla ever nominated for an Academy Award, are framed for a crime they didn't commit. Now they're on the run, and to clear their names and save their lives, Kermit and Amigo will be forced to reveal their darkest secrets and confront each other's hidden past. Will their friendship be able to survive? A story about secrets, sins, and simians. This will be in stores on September 23rd. Final order cutoff of August 31st. Now, when you say frame for a crime they didn't commit, doesn't that kind of imply that they committed other crimes, just not
Other
this
crimes.
one?
Yep. Yep.
Like,
It
because
maybe.
doesn't
I
otherwise you could
frame.
just
mean,
say frame for a crime.
Yeah, framed for a crime because I mean, didn't commit
But when
is
it's
is
framed
is
for a crime
implied.
they didn't commit, it's like, oh, so
all
they've
right,
committed crimes, but not this one.
but this is the one they're framed for. Yeah, that's time will tell.
It still
Uh,
sounds fun.
it does. It does.
Even if the autistic grammar part of my brain is kicking in.
Hey, syntactic ambiguity is a son of a bitch,
Right.
that's for sure.
Right.
Next up, we've got Doom Patrol #1, all over again, by Darcy Van
Mm.
Pogeest and Nico Henrikon from DC Comics. The Doom Patrol is broke, adopting a heroes for hire business model to stave off financial and emotional ruin. The team finds itself responding to a simple case, a missing cat. But when this case proves to be far from simple, the world's strangest heroes find themselves pulled into a truly out of this world situation. And elsewhere, beyond the view of Robot Man, Elastigirl, and Negative Man, and perhaps even beyond the veil of our reality, a ghost of the team's past is preparing to cross into their world. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 10th, in stores September 2nd, once again from DC Comics.
All right, we're gonna jump to Exquisite Corpses, Fox Fast Killer from Che Grayson, Adam Gorham, and Jordi Belair from Image. Among killers for hire, there are a select few feared even among other assassins. The enigmatic Fox Mask Killer is at the top of that list, but now she wants the one thing even she can't have. She wants out. And the only person who can offer her an opportunity to get away from her old life may be the devil herself. This has a final order cutoff of August 24th and will be in shop September 16th.
Alrighty, Folk of Dooney Hollow, #1 from Jeremy Hahn and Alex Linz over at Ignition Press. Deep in the Ozark Mountains lies the village of Dooney Hollow, hidden away from modern society for over a century. Its existence is only spoken of around campfires and in hushed tones by people who don't necessarily believe. Those who stumble upon Dooney Hollow never return to prove it's real, because dark forces lurk in the woods just outside the town gate. Carrie is a young graduate student who goes to the Ozarks to get a feel for the land and its people, and its local legends. Little does she know how close these legends she will get as a chance encounter in the forest leads her to ceremonial grounds and the terrifying monster that keeps the citizens of Dooney Hollow living in fear. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 3rd, in stores September 9th.
Hannah and the Hells versus Quentin Tarantino from Sam Ashford.
Trouble's
Hurst
afoot.
and Tony M. Clark at Floating World. I'd rather cut off my own ear than hear our song in his movie. When a celebrity B-movie director, Quentin Tarantino, sets out to make his 10th and final film, there's only one tune good enough to end his epic: Hannah and the Hells' New York Ripper. Only trouble is, Hannah and her pals don't want to hand over the rights. This sets in motion a widescreen conflict that sees the band traveling across the planet to call action on their very own rip-roaring rampage of revenge. Will QT survive, or is he going to be pretty far from okay? Final order cutoff of July 27th, in stores on October 28th.
All right. The Lichen from Mike Carey, Thomas Jane, David James Kelly, and Diego Yapur from Ablaze. In the year of our Lord, 1777, a hardened band of international big game hunters returning from Africa are shipwrecked off a small British island. In exchange for new supplies and the repair of their ship, Lord Ludgate engages the men for a task they are particularly well suited for: find the berserking beasts that have been eating his subjects and destroy them. This has a final order cutoff of August 24th and will be in shop September 30th.
No Gods, No Masters, #1 from Julio Anta and Jacoby Salcedo at Boom Comics. When afternoon detention is interrupted by the sudden and violent emergence of a kaiju, three New York City teenagers with seemingly nothing in common will band together to survive the apocalypse. Felipe is still getting accustomed to life in New York City, and when a kaiju ravages Manhattan, he'll need the help of two of his classmates to rescue his mom from a wrecked subway station. This is final order cutoff July 27th, in stores on September 2nd.
Okay, back to me. Smile, Any Given Smile, #1 from Stephanie Williams and Pablo M. Collar from IDW. January of 1995, all eyes are on American Arena League football championship game in St. Augustine, Florida. The Sharks gear up for the most significant event in the AAL's 20-year history, and Maximilian Dupree, their sudden star backup quarterback, is feeling the pressure from his teammates, his fans, and his debts to the city's gambling underworld. A string of suicides hits the community hard, drawing a desperate sports journalist to examine their connection to the big game. No one can trust anything they see, as a mind-bending entity and its frightful visions threaten their payouts, their sanity, and their lives. This has a final order cutoff of August 17th and will be in shop September 23rd.
All right, next up, there's Tales of Wonder, #1 from Steve Scroce. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. And Ian
No, that's right.
Herring over at Image Comics. Stu and Jake's friendship was forged in World War II, but the one thing it couldn't survive was the comic book industry. As their Wonder Comics creations grew from four-color sensations to a global phenomenon, everything changed. Now, these two legendary comics creators have reunited to launch the America's Freedom Force cinematic universe, only to discover the make-believe superheroes and monsters from their stories are very, very real. Can Stu and Jake overcome decades of bad blood and stolen credit? They better, if they're going to help save our world. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 10th, in stores September 2nd. Next up, some graphic novels.
All right, the first one for our graphic novels will be Best Friend Show from Craig Hurd McKinney, Melissa Jones from Mad Cave. 16-year-old Landon Snyder never expected to spend his summer in the world of dog shows, but after a family illness combined with a breakup sends him to live with his Aunt Iva, who runs a bustling dog rescue. Landon discovers a surprising talent for training and a bond with Blue, Iva's champion show dog. Between a cocky rival and a shy new friend who sees him like no one else, and the pressures of the best in show, Landon learns that healing doesn't always come with a ribbon, but sometimes with love, loyalty, and second chances. This is a final quarter cutoff of September 7th and will be in shops September 30th. Who's next? Chad. Film nerds.
Sorry. Film Nerds from Sophia Warren at Penguin Best friends Amy and Ivy couldn't be more different. Amy is quiet and loves to daydream, while Ivy is loud and in constant motion. What they do share is a love for filmmaking, a spending their free time working on a sci-fi epic about a space mission following Earth's destruction by the giant asteroid. But lately, the girls are faced with something even scarier than asteroids: sixth grade. At their new school, students are divided into different teams that might as well be different planets, and Amy and Ivy get separated. Ivy quickly finds new friends, while Amy struggles to adapt and is too embarrassed to tell Ivy how alone she feels. This hilarious and bittersweet graphic novel, punctuated with storyboard excerpts from the girls' film project, boldly explores the complicated but wondrous galaxies of friendship, art making, and growing up. Final order cutoff of August 31st, in stores on September 29th.
Okay. I get the next one. A Ghost Star Made of Angry Ghosts from Oliver Mertz and Alex Diotto. From Oni. 16-year-old Ari Ackerman just witnessed a murder, or two. Or maybe he didn't. He's not quite sure. What he does know is that he loves the Washington, D.C. punk scene and is trying very hard to process the perpetual impending death and frequent resurrections of his cancer-stricken father. Ari's best friend, Maya Ming, just wants to hang out and go see Jawbox play at the Black Cat. But sadly, an escalating series of unexplained deaths can really ruin a perfectly good day. Final order cutoff of August 10th and in shop September 1st.
All right. I wish I didn't have to tell you this. A graphic memoir by Eugene Yelchin over at Candlewick. No longer the creative little boy under his grandmother's table, Yevgeny is now a young adult pursuing his artistic dreams under the constant threat of the KGB's stranglehold on Russia's creative scene. When a chance encounter with an American woman opens him up to a world of romance and possibility, Yevgeny believes he has found his path to the future and freedom overseas. But the threat of being drafted into the military and sent to fight in Afghanistan changes everything in a terrible instant, and he takes drastic measures to decide his fate, leading to unthinkable consequences in a mental hospital. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 31st and in stores September 29th. Once again, from, I guess, a small press known as Candlewick.
I think it's actually part of an imprint of a bigger press, but I don't remember.
Oh, that'd be cool.
John of the Night from Daryl Cunningham at Avery Hill. At the center of all creation lies far eternity, where universes converge and reality is kept in balance. Scientist John of the Night and his daughter Aisha uncover a plot by the Perfection, a fanatical cult, to kill God and reboot the flawed multiverse into something supposedly perfect. As if that's not enough, Medea, Aisha's mother, and a witch queen with a flair for for drama, plans to sacrifice her to recharge her magic and avert an invasion. With cosmic forces closing in, John faces an impossible choice: save Aisha or risk the collapse of all existence. Inspired by Jack Kirby's grand cosmic epics, John of the Night blends humor, myth, and multiversal mayhem with themes of sacrifice, destiny, and baffling indifference of higher powers. A cosmic adventure driven by a fraught but fiercely loyal father-daughter bond against reality-shattering odds. Final order cutoff is August 3rd, in stores on September 2nd.
That sounds super cool. Next up, we've got Liquid Persona by Momo Gordon over at Floating World Press, A Life in Three Parts. Momo Gordon's taste for memories finds them excavating the past. Using their family history as a dig site, they draw upon artifacts to map out their story. In haunting panels, this collection of journal comics bleeds through to the present. Slowly, the liquid persona reveals itself. It's going to have a final order cutoff of July 27th, in stores November 25th.
I would like to say this is limited to only 1,000 copies.
Woo!
Because
Back
she's
now.
doing, because yeah, it's handmade paper, it's hand cut, it's really personalized, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's going to be
I
incredible.
definitely will be trying to get one. So
Heck yeah.
all right, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Absolutely. Murder School from Paul B. Rainey at Drawn and Quarterly, a memoir of British middle school bullying and one precocious comic nerd's fight to make it through while remaining as invisible as possible. Paul B. Rainey takes a look back at his middle school education and the indignities suffered, a mix of stalled friendships, pitched battles with martinets, and exasperated pleading with intractable parents. Playground games take on outsized importance as Paul and his friends seek respite from a particularly abusive science teacher. Paul jockeys to hold his place in the complicated hierarchy of school bullying. This is from Drawn and Quarterly. Final order cutoff is August 17th, in stores on September 15th.
I was looking at the cover of this, and I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but the cover is super intriguing. It drew me right in. All right.
Paul Rainey does good work.
Don't judge a book
yeah.
by its cover if you judge poorly.
Yeah. Okay. Tiger Girls from Felicia Lowe Jimenez and Claire Lowe from Mad Cave. Before I even read this series is awesome, by the way. In a world where every person bears the mark of their Chinese zodiac sign, tiger-born girls are feared as omens of calamity and quietly eliminated. But Su Ling is the rare survivor, raised in secrecy on the remote Tiger Island. Among her fierce but isolated tiger sisters, forced into the role of record keeper, Su Ling longs for something more: freedom, purpose, answers. When a mysterious woman washes ashore during a raging monsoon, Su Ling's carefully controlled world splits open. The stranger carries dangerous knowledge of the mainland and secrets linked to Su Ling's own past. As tensions rise and the island's future is thrown into doubt, Su Ling must decide, will she embrace her fate or rewrite it? Discover the haunting, action-filled saga in the stunning graphic novel, collecting the celebrated Tiger Girls webcomic, an exclusive new short story, and bonus behind-the-scenes content. It's a tale of destiny, motherhood, and the courage to defy the stars. Go read it, you guys. It's awesome. Pick this up, too. This is from Mad Cave again. Final order cutoff August 24th and in shop September 16th.
All right. Who Needs Donuts by Mark Allen Stamety from Drawn and Quarterly. Sam's love of donuts takes him to the big city, where he makes friends with Mr. Bickford, a world-class collector of donuts. But when Mr. Bickford falls in love with Pretzel Annie, the prophecy of an old woman comes true. Who needs donuts when you've got love? Mr. Bickford bequeaths his donut collection to Sam, who uses it to save the old woman from drowning in a basement flooded with coffee. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 10th, in stores September 8th, once again from Drawn and Quarterly.
All right, let's jump over to collections. Astro Quantum from Andrea Moody and Arturo Fabra, and Andrea Moody. What is that on there twice?
Once again.
From Mad Cave. Once again, Andrea Moody. Mad Cave. In a distant galaxy where energy is drawn from the blood of colossal space beasts known as Moloch, young Ishmael finds himself aboard the cursed starship Pekau. Bound by the fate of Queequeg, a fierce alien warrior with a haunted past.
Pequod.
What?
Pequod. He's on the starship Pequod.
This is if you haven't caught on, these are some Moby Dick references.
There we go. Okay. He is thrust into a hunt led by the relentless Captain Ahab, or Ahab, I guess.
Yep.
Ahab, whose obsession with the legendary Pale Moloch threatens to doom them all. Betrayal, forbidden love, and cosmic monsters collide in a tale of survival where the true battle is not only against the beasts of space, but the darkness within. Final order cutoff August 24th and will be in shop September 16th.
FML Volume 1, Fire, from Kelly Sudaconic and David Lopez. It's been announced the next one will be from Matt Fraction. So we're getting all sorts of family secrets told by Casa de Fraction in this wonderful, wonderful series. Riley is a teen that sketches out of his heavy out his heavy metal future with a ballpoint pen between monster movies and band practice. But musical stardom needs to compete with high school. The temper of a former riot girl mother, the morbid obsessions of a goth sister, and the eccentricities of bandmates that threaten to drive him and everyone around him insane. The balance gets harder after a ritual during a party in Portland's Forest Park causes him to wake up one day and discover that the creatures, witchcraft, and metal world he's obsessed with may be a bit closer to home than he preferred. This is from Dark Horse Comics, in stores November 3rd with a final order cutoff of August 3rd. I cannot recommend it enough.
It's a good one. It's a real good one.
Yes, it is.
And here we have
So's yours here.
Oh, okay. I haven't read this one. I'm excited.
I
Dragon.
kickstarted it and I adore Juan Jimenez.
Nice. I Dragon, the complete edition from Juan Jimenez. In the year 1280, the inhabitants of the Rosenthal Castle find themselves surrounded by a massive army, led by the bastard descendant of a lost royal line who has returned to stake her claim to the throne. She sets out to begin a long and bloody war for power. Meanwhile, inside the castle, a strange woman with a traveling carnival gives birth to her first child. How do all of these stories interconnect? Who will fate smile upon, and who will end up dead in the mud? And how does a fierce, mysterious dragon who lives in a volcano play into all of this? You'll need to read I, Dragon and discover that all for yourself. From IDW with a final order cutoff of August 31st, in stores October 6th.
Right. Gem and the Holograms, book 1 from Kelly Thompson and Sophie Campbell from Boom. Jerrica Benton and her sisters Kimber, Aja, and Shanna dream of musical stardom, but stage fright keeps Jerrica from stepping fully into the spotlight. When they discover their father's secret invention, their world changes forever as Gem and the Holograms are born. Suddenly, they're ready to play if they can survive the competition from their ruthless rivals, the Misfits. Final order cutoff August 3rd and will be in shops October 6th.
I kind of hope that's the real band, the Misfits.
I know. That would be
Peril
awesome.
of the Brutal Dark, an Ezra Kane mystery from Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. New York City, 1941. Ezra Kane is a private investigator with a reputation for taking it on the chin if it means solving a case. But it's his former life as an archaeology student that makes him the only man to track down an artifact that's gone missing from the Museum of Natural History. An ancient anvil said to hold the power of the Greek god Hephaestus. If someone could harness the power, they could bend nations to their will. Science fiction quickly becomes Kane's reality when a shadowy sect calling themselves the Brutal Dark appears in the city, wielding resources that defy human logic. Now Ezra is the only thing that stands between it and its plot to overthrow America. Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips, creators of That Texas Blood, introduce us to Private Eye, whose business is exposing our deepest secrets, but on this job, he'll learn that some mysteries are better left buried. This is from DC Vertigo, final order cutoff of August 17th, in stores on October 27th. All I can say is imagine that Indiana Jones and Sam Spade had a baby. It would be Ezra Kane.
Interesting. All right.
That's true. That is true.
Now we've got Uri Tumka and the Devils, another short story from Lands Unknown by Mike Mignola over at Dark Horse. Heretic and theologian Uri Tumka has learned of the gods and now must learn of the universe, and so he visits a baron's library of books beyond even Uri's imagination. However, night after night in the library brings not just new insight and clarity of the origins of the world, but threatens to consume Uri himself, as his unquenchable search for understanding may put him directly in the path of danger. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 17th and in stores November 17th. Next up, we got final order cutoff.
Final order cutoff for Monday, July 13th. So let your comic shops know this week. If you're interested in Amazing Spider-Man from number 1000 from Joe Kelly, Noah Hawley, Pepe Larraz, Patrick Gleason, Frank Miller, Peach Momoko, Stuart Immonen, Brian Michael Bendis, and more, in stores on September 16th from Marvel Comics. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've got number 2 here, so maybe we had the number 1 and I screwed up. That's possible, or I could have typed wrong. So either Buffy the Vampire Slayer #1 is already Final Order Cutoff, or I typed something wrong. But anyway, Kelly Thompson, Stephen Byrne at Dynamite out on August 26th. Chachu #1 from Imam Vellani and Mariano Ignazzi and Jordi Belair at Image on August 5th. Conquest of the Cosmos from Alexander Fontaine Rousseau at Pow Pow out on August 26th. Death Vigil #1 from Stepan Sejic at Image Comics out on August 5th. EC's Shell Shock #1 from Julio Anta and Tom Fowler and more, I think, because it's another one of their anthology type things, out from Oni Press on August 19th. Just Another Summer from Tilly and Susan Bridges and Julia Ronaldo and Ike at
I'm not
Mad
sure if
Cave.
it's Aewig or Oig.
Could be either way.
Yeah.
Ewig, Ike from Mad Cave on August 5th. It probably depends on what part of Ireland your accent's from.
Yep. We're looking
Lancer
silly.
#1 from Mike Costa and Jake Baker out from Bad Cave on Bad Idea,
Cave.
not Bad Cave.
I like that.
Bad
Cave.
Idea out on August 12th. Lovers of the Empire Volume 1 from Eudori at Fantagraphics on August 19th. The Omega Book #1 from James Patrick and Paulie Jonquera from Mad Cave out August 5th, and UK in a Bad Way from James Harvey at Uncivilized Books out on August 12th. Who's got crowdfunding?
Well, before Phil does that, I think it would be a good idea for Bad Idea and Mad Cave to team up on a few books to do
a
Bad
crossover,
Cave.
if you will.
Well, and they should certainly,
books.
before either one of them considers like the possibility of bankruptcy or anything, and I'm hoping that neither of them need to, they should look at the idea of merging to be Bad Cave.
I mean, it could, it's, it could happen.
DC might try to sue them.
Ha! Well, see, that's only if they misspell the D as a T for Batcave, but we will
Is
see.
Batcave too close to Batcave?
I mean, just phonetically.
I don't know. All right, Phil, go ahead. Crowdfunding.
There is Scar Tissue Bargains by Stephen Fox on Kickstarter through July 12th. Nerd Emergencies and Other Misunderstandings, a comics showcase of neurodivergent perspectives from Andrew Coltrane, Partly Robot, and Zuzu Cartoons on Kickstarter through July 14th.
I got to jump in right here. Hold on.
Yep.
I got to jump in right here. This needs to get funded. Because if this gets funded, I will have my first ever published back cover blurb.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exciting. That's a big one. Heck yeah. We'll start.
So if people want to read a back cover blurb from yours truly,
you better fund it.
Go fund Nerd Emergencies and Other Misunderstandings, a comic showcase of neurodivergent perspectives. I've read it. It's amazing. And I've talked to Andrew twice and Zuzu once.
Let this be the first foothold in a promotional blurb empire.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Next up, Stellar Remnant #2 from Damon George Hampton on Kickstarter through July 15th. Liberty, the arms smugglers who helped win the revolution from Jordan Mercer, Etienne Leroux, and Loic Chevalier at Neurobellum Productions / Magnetic Press on Kickstarter. Is that on Kickstarter? Through
it is.
July 22nd. Subculture on In Crowds and Outliers by comics' finest writers, artists, and record thieves, edited by Shelley Bond on Kickstarter through July 23rd. Ghost Brawler #1 from the team behind Image Legendary Series Chew, John Layman and Rob Guillory on Kickstarter through July 23rd. The Monuments Volume 2, Let His Death Be a Warning from Oliver Mertz on Kickstarter through July 28th. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy who wrote Ghost Storm Full of Angry Ghosts.
It is, in fact.
There we go. So he's got another one. If either of those books sound good, back them both.
And I'll also say that Shelley plugged them both the last time she was on the air. And if Shelley says something's good.
Yeah, she has a really great track record of good taste in comics. I don't know if anyone else knows that.
She does kind of.
Then there is The Monuments Vault. Oh wait, no, just read that one. Outlaw's Apprentice: Broken Blade from Chris Schweizer on Kickstarter through July 30th.
This
And
one looks awesome. I mean,
it does look awesome. Yeah.
I love
yeah.
me some Chris Schweizer.
Schweizer's art is fantastic. I follow him on Blue Sky. He seems like a super cool dude. Definitely go fund that book.
He's
He
been on the
definitely
show a
seems
few
cool.
times. He might be coming back.
Awesome. And then
And by
there
might be, I mean he's been booked.
nice. There we go. Okay. So
I mean, he
so
still has to show up,
highly
but he's been
likely.
booked.
Sure, sure. You don't want to bank too hard, but I think it's pretty fair.
No, he's pretty good at making his appointments.
I was
He
gonna
hasn't
say.
missed one yet.
There you go. And then finally, Tezuka, God of Manga, a documentary from Jason Cohn, launching soon on Kickstarter. It's been on there for a while. Ted talked to Jason about this documentary a while back. Definitely go listen to that episode. Check it out if you enjoy manga in general. Next up, what's on Humble Bundle, Tyler?
Well, Sonic the Hedgehog, the 35th anniversary from IDW, has a sale of 27 items for $18. That will be going to the Children's Miracle Network. That's wrapping up this Friday, I think, July 10th. So be sure to get on that. And then Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and more from DC. That is offering 30 items for $18, and those funds are going to the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. And that goes out till July 18th, so the following Saturday.
All right,
Dun, dun, dun.
3 amazing books from this week. It was pretty much written on the wall before the week came out. The only question was going to be order, and like I'm gonna call them all number one. I don't want to actually pick an order. So it was Starhenge book 2, A Kiss for Atticus, number 1 from Liam Sharp at Image Comics. It was Declaration, Emancipation Illustrated from R. Skoriak at Drawn and Quarterly. And it was Absolute Martian Manhunter number 12, The Conclusion from Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez at DC. They were all absolutely amazing. Cannot speak highly enough of them. In a week that had a lot of other good comics that I'm not even going to talk about the honorable mentions because those 3 stand
They
high
were
above.
that good.
Wow.
They were that good. I love all 3
Yeah.
of these books. Like, I mean, my love for Starhenge is well documented. My love for Constitution Illustrated is well documented, and Bob continues that on Declaration Emancipation Illustrated. We'll actually be recording a book club for the 3 of them. One of them's a flip book, Declaration one side, Emancipation the other, and then Constitution Illustrated will be recording the book club for that right after this. And like Absolute Martian Manhunter is also just like, yeah. They're all seminal works.
They're all
Phil, take a
amazing.
walk.
Yep. I had a bit of a wild week this week. Let me tell you, friends. The heat out there is no joke. I landed in the ER with heat stroke. Lost so much cheesy bread I'll never be able to get back. And while I was there, I met a man with a ventilator, a pee bag, and a pack of cigarettes in his front pocket.
Oh, that's classy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the classy move right there.
Mhm.
Ventilator slash
I have taken care of people like
open
that.
flame near
Yeah.
oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I figured-
No. I mean,
Yeah.
most of them are pretty good about taking off the oxygen and leaving it at the door when they go out to smoke their cigarettes.
Yeah, no.
I know because I've worked in the homes where I had to go out with
Yeah.
them for them to smoke their cigarettes.
Yeah, no, this was a guy who tried to convince me to, in his words, roll him out there and walk away. And I was like, sir, because he was trying to leave. He was in some kind of trouble, some kind of drama. And I was like,
Yeah.
sir, you look like you need to be in the hospital. I'm not going to help you escape. I am sorry. Yeah. So
if you would have, that would have been a great story on how you helped a man escape.
You should have asked him how much cash he
hospital
had on
custody.
him.
Well, our brief meeting started when he asked me to buy him something out of the vending machine, and it didn't take cash. So I just used my card and gave him back the $5 bill with the honey bun. And I think that's when he's like, all right, I can get this guy to do whatever I want. And I'm like, no, I've got a line. and that line is helping you escape from the ER when it looks like you need to be there.
But I'm telling you, you should have seen how many more $5 bills he had to go with
There
that.
we go. There we go. Yeah, yeah,
It
absolutely.
shouldn't have been a line. It should have been a
Oh.
price.
He could have made it worth your while.
From line to price, a loss of dignity and scruples, you know. Um, Ted, I think you managed to read some One Piece this week.
No, I was at
No.
698 chapters last week
Oh, I
too.
thought you were at 697 chapters last week, so I thought you
I
got
might have
finished doing
been.
enough,
I might have been.
you
Maybe I
know.
read a chapter or two right after we talked. But remember, you
Okay.
haven't been on the show for 2 weeks.
No, I was here last time. I was here for
Oh
Yes, you
yeah,
Father's
were.
that's
Day.
right.
Yeah,
Or for
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
2 weeks ago.
it was two
Okay.
weeks ago. Yes, yeah,
Right.
we were
Right.
here
Right.
last time. You know,
Okay.
I was also becalmed. That's the worst thing. I was trapped in the ER for 9 hours without any comics to read. So, it was a tough one.
See, that is short-sighted on your part.
I
You
mean,
shouldn't ever go anywhere without comics to read.
unfortunately, I'm not in the habit of bringing comics to work. But
Why?
because I don't have time to read them at work. That's why.
But you might. You go to the
I don't.
bathroom.
I really
You go to the bathroom. You have
don't.
lunch.
I do have lunch. That's fair.
You could
That's
wind
fair.
up in the ER.
Then we'll start. We'll have like an emergency survival pack of comics in the trunk of
I
my
mean,
car at all times.
this is
You don't
actually
have one already?
I need to,
this is
apparently.
this is actually the biggest argument for a tablet to read comics on too.
It is. It is.
Because
That's
then you
absolutely
just
true.
carry the tablet with the
And
comics on it.
that's way easier than changing
And
out
for that
books.
matter, you can tell your boss that
Uh-huh.
you're multitasking. You're keeping track of your email while you're doing the other work.
Sure, sure. That depends on me being able to keep track of my emails in the first place.
Well, you'll have to get better at keeping track of your emails,
Yep,
but you'll
that
be
is
able
for
to
sure.
because they'll be on the same screen as the comics, and
There we go.
you'll get the alert that says you have an
Oh,
email. It's like, oh, okay, I got to stop reading the comic,
is that
respond to
is that,
the email.
is that one of those important emails, or is that one of those everyday ignore emails? But yeah, we had a little bit of a different pace on our great responsibility this week. I'm interested to see where we go with this one.
We've
I
got
know.
a good set.
Uh-huh.
Do How do
Okay.
we want to do it? Do we want to
Well,
share a book at a time? Do we want
so
to
for
do a
listeners,
Go
person
for
at a
your
time?
we decided to each pick three books that represent something that we appreciate or makes us proud about America. Um, so this is, I mean,
I don't know about a I don't know about appreciate for me, but more so
uh-huh.
about like what it's like to be an American
Yeah,
for me. You know what I mean?
I can see
So
that.
yeah.
I can see that. I'm glad for one of your picks because I almost picked one of those. I don't do we want to go round robin one at a time?
No,
Is that something? No?
let's say the three and then kind
Okay.
of have a general discussion about why you picked those.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Sure.
That works.
Okay,
Uh,
Tad.
so my picks, um, in no particular order. In fact, I'm gonna read them in a different order than they're up there.
Go ahead.
Uh, Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson, Love and Rockets by Los Bros Hernandez, and the freshly released and also Shelley Bond, not just recommended, but like she ordered me to finish talking to them and go read it. And when Shelley orders you to do things, you do them.
Yep.
Gigs by Mark Mosdale and Cy Simon. Um, the ironic part about gigs really representing America to me is Mark and Cy are British and the story is set in Britain and it is very British, but it also has stuff that kind of bleeds over. Um
What?
I know. And it's like each one of them has a little bit of different thing. For Calvin and Hobbes, it's because um
I mean,
this
Calvin
nation
Hobbes, I can
is
imagine.
so
Yeah.
this nation is so vast and so varied that like it's hard to lose the sense of wonder when you're traveling to new places or hearing about different things. There's always something new and cool out there in America. I mean, people ask me if I want to travel, and it's like I do kind of, but I want to
Mhm.
travel inside the United States even more than I want to travel outside of the United States because
Okay.
there's so much right here that I
There
haven't
really is.
experienced yet, gotten a feel for yet, etc.
Oh yeah.
Love and Rockets is the pick because, its characters are decidedly not white. I mean, I think there are a couple that might be, but the stories are very, very American nonetheless. I mean, and the fact that they're told in black and white in a way that you have to pick up on language cues and minor, it would be possible for somebody if they chose to read um Love and Rockets and ignore the fact that they were all brown on one level or another, as long as they didn't see covers. Um, I'm not recommending that, but but
Right.
Yeah.
but I think it does drive home that like at heart we're all human. We all have way more in common than different.
Absolutely. I mean,
Uh,
I think that's something
raising a
people lose sight of.
family isn't different if you're white versus brown.
Yeah. It,
Dating isn't different. Love of music or food isn't different. Even half the times, the kinds of food aren't different. Needing to work for a living isn't different.
mhm.
Um, that sort of thing, and that actually leads me to gigs. And I booked Mark and Sai already, and in booking them, I specifically asked, is it weird that I'm going to be using your very British book as an example of one of the things that I love about America and or one of the things that like actually makes me what I said specifically proud to be a US citizen.
Mhm.
And Mark actually, I think, summed it up really well. So I'm going to read from him. He said, I don't know how any of us should feel about our countries these days, but I know that when I meet real people from just about anywhere out in the real world, I tend to like them. And hopefully there's a bit of that in gigs to cling on to. Um,
Nice.
and that pretty much nails what I love about it for that matter. I mean, it's a very I mean, the basic rundown on gigs is like we're in a new future kind of dystopia because like there's even more income gap where the billionaire bros even managed to pull the bait and switch where there is a universal basic income now, but you're also required to do any gig that gets sent your
God,
way or you lose your income or
that's
parts
fucked
of your
up.
income. So
That sounds
everybody's
really
got the
great.
app on their phone that will tell them,
Wow.
oh, you need to go work in a nursing home today. Or,
Holy
oh,
shit.
you need to.
That sounds really good. That sounds like a
It
really good
is.
book.
It's amazing. Um, but one of the recurring lines, the thing that I really take away from it is um, do the next right thing.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah, the world's completely screwed up and whatnot, and trying to figure out what to do is hard. And so just
Yeah.
always do the next right thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the big picture. Do the
Yeah.
next right thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I do think that like for whatever our problems as a nation are, for whatever infuriates us, I do think that on a whole, most Americans live that way,
I hope so.
where in terms of their life itself, they're trying to do that next right thing. Now, like the last 20 years have really started to show us some of the holes and what had previously been like the last 40 years have kind of started to make the holes, and the last 20 years have really started to blow those holes open and make them
Hmm.
very apparent for what has overall been a government system that was the envy of the world, so much so that like almost every government system created since then has been modeled after it. I mean, even sometimes when they're not technically democracies, there are huge parts that are modeled off of the way we do things.
And here's where,
Um,
when those like countries that have been around for hundreds of years more than us have redone their government systems and like redone their constitutions, in my mind, and this is something my dad has been saying since I was a teenager, that we need to, redo the Constitution. We need to
well,
like
and
remake our, and
that
part of
was
the problem
actually
for that.
exactly where I was going is the
Okay.
fact that like it says amazing things about us
Uh-huh.
that so many countries have redone their systems or started their systems in our image.
Mm-hmm.
But part of the image that they started them in is embodied by Article 5, is embodied
Mm-hmm.
by the Ninth Amendment, both
Mm-hmm.
of which, Article 5 is where you can amend the Constitution. The Ninth Amendment states outright that,
Mm-hmm.
look, just because it's not strictly enumerated as a right
Yep.
among these bills of rights doesn't
Yep.
mean that it's not a right.
It's so wild how that seems to be forgotten in the face of something like AI
Right.
these days. That's wild. That's wild.
Yep.
Like the part that our framers were actually great at that isn't given enough credit for is knowing that they weren't writing a final document.
Right.
Unfortunately, the recent Supreme Court has had trouble with that. Unfortunately,
Boo,
you
Supreme
know,
Court.
the, well, but like,
I'll still boo
I
them.
mean, if you start really digging into it, like
Uh-huh.
the courts in general were punted to Congress, and Congress in 250 years hasn't done its responsibility of truly defining the courts.
Yep. Yep.
You know, we
Yep.
had 13 colonies that didn't agree on a lot.
You're right.
Ben Rhodes recently published a book. Ben Rhodes was one of Obama's speechwriters and also one of his top national security aides. Um, and he just put out a book called All We Say.
Hmm.
And All We Say is 15 speeches from history that kind of define the battle for American identity. So it's not strictly like it's got a Trump speech in it. It's got
Wow.
a speech from I think the I can't remember his name right now, but the vice president of the Confederacy,
Mm.
really. But the very first speech um is the speech that Ben Franklin gave at the or I forget if it was Constitutional Congress or Declaration. I think it was Constitutional Congress.
Uh-huh.
Um, where like in it, he acknowledged and even kind of made some jabs in the direction of the specifics that no, he didn't agree with everything in this document. There were
Yeah.
things that he dramatically disagreed with, but we needed it.
Yep.
We needed it
Yeah.
now, and we needed to figure out that stuff later because if we didn't, we wouldn't we wouldn't be a country.
Right.
Sometimes it was the Constitutional Convention. Uh, sometimes that need for sometimes the compromise is necessary to move forward at all.
Hmm.
Um,
And I
and
worry. Sorry.
I worry about a lot of things. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me. None of this is to say that I don't worry
Hmm. Hmm.
about our country and the direction we're going right now. Like, arguably, we've never had good foreign affairs. We've
Yeah.
treated the world as our piggy bank, and we can do so much better. But we're also one of the few nations that has that ingrained in its framing documents that we
Yeah.
can do better and we should do better. And do we always? No. And part of that's because we don't always agree on what better is.
Yeah.
But like until when and if we tear up the Declaration
Guys,
of
we got a lot of books to
Independence,
go through. We got to keep
right?
going.
Yeah. So
I'm
Tyler,
sorry.
you're up.
All right. What It Is by Linda Berry.
Nice.
This book, right? The American Ideas of Commercial Success for an artist, right? On human creativity. It's just, I don't know, it hit a spot with me. Do you know what
It's
I
a good
mean?
book. It's a great one.
Um, yeah. The idea that art functions as a mechanism in our crazy world, right? And I link it to today. I don't do art for somebody else. I don't I don't sell my artwork. I mean, I don't try to. I don't do shows, even though I have a degree in art. And I only have a degree in art so I can do what I love, but do it better. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And when and if I feel like doing a piece of artwork, I do it. Um, and I've been doing a lot of stuff lately that is coming from a direct mm, flow of all of this political oversaturation, right? I don't know, and the visuals in the book, right? It doesn't conform to typical American superheroes, red, white, and blue, and therefore needs that's the only thing that's American, right? And I just think it gives a totally different idea for what that is. My second choice was Bitch Planet by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Valentine Delandro. Because the real world fight right now for reproductive rights and pro-choice advocate, all of this stuff, and that's this book. It's just encapsulates that 100%, right? And then not only that, but for me, it celebrates, queer and diverse and weird. I guess I'm like defiant individuals who don't want to fit into those type of patriarchal boxes. Do you know what I mean? Um, so I don't know, conservative American society anxieties, and it's dials it up to a just absurd dystopian extreme, right? To
Hmm. Hmm.
expose the systematic flaws in everything that we have, right now in this total shit show of Americanism. And I don't mean that to sound negative. I honestly could not find things to feel proud about, but more so like how I'm observing being American right now, you know.
Yeah.
And then Days of Hate, by Ale Scott and Daniel Zezelj. Um, right? It's like I hate Mount Rushmore. I absolutely hate it because
Yeah.
it is such a finger to the Lakota people. Um, I hate how everybody glorifies it. I absolutely hate how my dad talks about how he gave me my first helicopter ride and it was up to the four faces. Um, because the this book strips away those comforting myths like, oh, look at Mount Rushmore, isn't it
Hmm.
inspiring? Not never mind that the sculptor was a KKK member, that all majority of those people up on that were slave owners, and then secondly, the hill itself was stolen. I'm using Mount Rushmore as an example, just because this book, right, it underlies that those fractures in the American dream,
Hmm.
right, and with the two uh, queer female leads, it shows how their personal love for each other and the political warfare in how it collides in our country, in a divided country.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. I don't know. It's to me, it's representative of the political fatigue that we're all feeling. I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want my daily news to be politics heavily focused, right? And and that's like what it is with today's modern political spectrum that we're talking about.
Well, I think the title there ties into that. We're Days of Hate. I feel like right now, almost all of our political news comes from an angle of outrage, in that both for, liberal audiences, a lot of it is be aware of all this horrible shit happening. And then for conservative audiences, it's similarly get scared of all these things that we're telling you about. And so it's that, in the digital age, our base instincts are being driven against us, and hate drives more traffic
Yeah.
than truth or joy or empathy or working together. It's
Hmm.
it's that everyone is going for that disgust, outrage, hate click.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what's driving things more so than anything else, really.
I agree. And what were your picks?
So I tried to go a little outside the box. The first one I picked was Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. Initially just because like it was a weird sort of thing where it's like, all right, what's something that makes me proud to be American? Quite frankly, our food. Like
Yeah.
I mean, and what's kind of ironic to me about saying that food is one of the things that makes me proud to be American, it's because of the wide variety and range of other cultures' cuisine that we have access to, especially in larger
Right.
cities. Food is a major driver for my wife and I's decision of that we want to move to Cincinnati is because all the food we've had there has been awesome. The other city we were looking at for a while, Louisville, unfortunately, we've had a lot of disappointing food experiences there, and that's like a huge thing for us of like, hey, we
And you're not looking at Chicago. What?
it's just it's that's a long story. I
Can
came
I
out there,
interest? Hey,
yeah,
hey, Phil. Can
yeah.
I interest you in a hot dish from Minnesota?
A hot dish. I don't know. I don't
Do
remember
you
what's
know
in
what
a
a
hot
hot dish
dish.
is?
I
Known as
you mentioned it.
casserole
It's a
anywhere
You
else.
mentioned it.
casserole.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It's a
hey, I'd try
it's
it.
the
Anything
Minnesota word for casserole.
interesting.
Also Dakota. Also
It's
Dakota.
it's
True.
it's
Yep, yep.
it's rare when there's a local delicacy I will reject. That's for sure. And to extrapolate on that is that one of the
Delicacy
themes.
might be a stretch, but
Yes, yes.
they are tasty.
Right. One of the.
Delicacy. No, no, no. This was a
It's just a
staple in a
slang term.
farmhouse, right? So
Um.
if you were a working farm family,
No, there's really nothing delicate about a hot dish.
It's an
yeah, no,
indelicacy.
it is everything thrown into a pan with some
Nice.
ground beef and maybe some cream of chicken
I
for a
I do
little
love some spot,
moisture.
Tater
like
tots
why
on
not?
top.
Tater
Oh
tots, yeah.
man, top something in tots, and I'm
Hmm.
I'm here for it.
Hmm.
But
And
no,
if you
but
really,
for
if it was a fancy night, like if it was like
mhm.
date night, you would throw a little cheese on top.
There you go. But one of the things that's great about Delicious in Dungeon as a book is that it starts out with this goofy concept of, hey, we're adventurers going into the dungeon, and we're going to eat the monsters so that we don't have to bring food with us. And
Well, they were actually talked into that when they
they were,
lost their
yes.
food.
Yeah, the party wiped out and they went back, and instead of Laos going in by himself, they agreed, hey, we'll eat the monsters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, they
But
met the chef guy.
he taught them. They were planning to eat the monsters
Right.
already, but then
Oh, were they?
yes, but then Senshi comes out
It's been a
and
while since I remembered it,
it's
or
it's a
since I
it's
read it.
so good. It's such a
It
good
is.
series. But I love how it then becomes about like the ecosystem of the dungeon. This
Yeah.
idea that like, hey, this is a whole world that has a balance to it, and like if you throw that out of balance, it gets worse for everybody. This idea that everything's interconnected. And similarly, I know that there are parts of America known as food deserts where it's hard to get fresh supplies, and sometimes you're limited to like a dollar store, and it's rough. And like,
And there and like I'm gonna point out because I recently stopped at a gas station for both
mhm,
gas and snacks in what was definitely a food desert.
yep,
Um, I wish I could say that they were accidental food deserts. I wish I could say that it had anything to do with
yep,
like
actual deserts.
well, even any capitalism. Like
Yeah, that
like
too. Yeah,
I know that better food would have sold there. I
yeah,
know that a decent grocery store could make it in those areas. Um, we have decided that particularly poor white area or poor black areas,
mhm.
uh, it's more of a decided that they can't survive there, and
Yeah,
let's
it's
send
messed up.
all of our near expired over processed
Mhm.
tons of sugar food there instead.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
A-
I would love to
And
see somebody take a risk and just move
yeah,
in some good food stuff and watch how quickly it becomes hard for the people that want to
Yeah.
Want to not have to swallow any costs because they overmade that particular kind of chips or
Right.
whatever.
It's one of those things that I hope becomes even better. Like, the concept of food in the US, that it really can get better for those people where it's not, and that
Right.
we continue to have the variety that we do in larger city areas. Along that line, well, not really along those lines. To take a completely different view of things, my next pick was Uber Invasion #7 by Kieran Gillen and Daniel Getty from his long running. This was towards the later end. I'm specifically picking Invasion #7 because it is my absolute favorite issue of the series. I feel like even if the book in general is not for you, this one issue is one that I would encourage everyone to read just because it's so damn cool. And heartbreaking because it's an issue that, you know, draws a metaphor between these soldiers with super speed get developed, and they're drawn parallels to uh, black units like the Tuskegee Airmen or whatnot, because they're put on a suicide mission to try to kill one of the German battleships, and they do it in super speed by one taking slashes with diamond tip knives against his eye until it bursts. And what makes me proud to be American about that elaborate metaphor is the idea that, like, America was founded, with a sense of rebel and of people fighting for what is right. And even when we have become the similar imperial monster that we railed against to begin with, there are still people here who are fighting that good fight and are wanting to make things better and are standing up against injustice. To me, that issue is like, hey, even when there's this person that their own country is exploiting them and oppressing them and literally using them as a tool of war, like, they are still a hero at the end of the day, and they are still, fighting against injustice. And that's the type of person that I always want to root for, and
Yeah.
I feel that myth. That's one of those things of, like, I recognize that there's a certain extent that America has soured itself on that myth, but I want the kernel of truth of it to still be there, to still be real. Um,
Yeah.
from there, the slightly, less large leap was Seven Soldiers of Victory, the series by Grant Morrison and a bunch of different art teams. J.H. Williams III, Simon Bisley, Freddie Williams II. I think Pascal Ferry did an issue. Um, Cameron Stewart, Yannick Paquette. There's definitely Doug Mankey. So many great artists on this book, and the premise is, here are seven superheroes who most people have never heard of before, who save the world without ever meeting each other. And what makes me think of America with that is this idea that, like Tad mentioned, we are so vast. There is so much out there that, like, you're never going to know everyone else in America. There will be people out there that you never meet, but their existence is just as important to your life as the people that you know and love. This idea that, hey, the people that out there that are completely different from you, that you don't know, that you have never met and you will never meet, they are still working together with you to make the world a better place, to save the world. And I think that's beautiful. I think that that's something that we could apply to more than just America. This idea that, hey, there's people out there that I don't know about and I've never met, but they're okay, and they're also heroes to me, even if I don't know who they are. And that's Seven Soldiers of Victory.
Yeah. Well, that guys, we had like completely different takes
We did.
on what this assignment was about or how to tackle it, right? How
That's for sure.
what angle to go at it. And
Yeah.
I didn't ask very, questions on it for that very reason. I'm like,
Hmm.
I know this is gonna sound, I don't know, un-American, but I don't have a lot of patriotism. I never
Yeah.
have. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and
Even
that's yeah.
I have never been felt extremely tied to a nation like this is my identity
Hmm.
is American. I have never felt that. So I don't quite know how to be proud to be an American. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like I said, that's why I kind of the joke of what's the best thing about America? The fact that there's a whole rest of the world around it. Um,
Yeah.
but like it, but for real, it's one of those things that if I just replace America as, something bigger than myself, that's where I quickly go to, the things that make me feel connected to other people, people I don't know, and, a larger sense of the world and community and society as a species rather than just, and that's tough because it's tough in a time right now where, it is arguably harder to be an immigrant than it ever has been in this country right now. And yet, like,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, and yet, like, that's one of those experiences that since I was a kid, my dad always instilled in me, you know, immigrants are absolutely Americans too. Like, everyone deserves to be
Right.
here.
Yes.
We've always
Yeah.
been like, hey,
Well,
like, yeah,
you're hitting on why I'm proud to be an American.
hmm
And again, it's one of those I'd be more proud to be I'd be proud to be counted an American if not for some of the other Americans I know.
yeah,
Um, but why I'm proud to be an American is there's so many concepts of globalism, so many concepts of um multiracial society and whatnot that America or the United States specifically.
hmm
And I mean, I'm proud to be an American because when you're talking
hmm
about American, like you're talking Canada and Mexico, and like one of the
yeah,
times I
yeah,
have trouble calling myself a U.S. citizen, and be
uh-huh,
proud to be a U.S. citizen is that like we try to like hijack the whole American thing.
right,
Brazilians
Yeah.
are American,
Agreed.
absolutely.
Ecuadorians
Yeah.
are American, Chileans are American.
Hmm That's so a joke.
Um,
There was a time at a Mexican restaurant where my dad, pulled out his American Express card, and the waiter was like, "No, no, sorry, only Mexican Express here." And my dad joked, "Mexico's still part of America. Like, it's
right,
still American Express. Come on,
right.
But like, it
Um,
is so
but
funny.
uh, but we're one of the like whether or not we've always managed to live to the ideals, whether or
Mhm.
not the ideals were even laid out ingenuously.
Right.
Um, we're one of the few countries that said the things that I wish were more true.
Yeah.
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 Now, a
I
lot of
can
the
see some
times when we're
nobility there.
fighting for democracy overseas, we're not really fighting democracy and human rights overseas. But gee,
Right.
wouldn't it be great if that was something we were willing to do?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wouldn't it
mean,
be great if it didn't require there to be a financial interest? If we could say, no, what's
oh,
going on there is wrong.
absolutely. I mean, hell, if we
And
could,
we're not going there for any reason other than
yeah,
to protect people being oppressed.
if we could
And then we're going to
actually.
find our way out as fast as possible once
Mhm.
those people are safe.
Look at human aid before military intervention.
Right,
Like,
right,
honestly, there's only so much that you can do militaristically to help people before
right,
you are effectively conquering their nation and hoping that they agree with you after the fact.
right. Again, have we done any of it? Well, no, not really. In fact, more times than not, what we've said we're doing and what we're actually doing are, but most countries don't even
Yeah,
bother to say it.
that's true. I mean,
Most
at least in our
countries
lifetimes.
don't
Yeah.
need to say it. Most
Yeah.
countries don't have a populace where if they don't say it,
hmm
they won't have the support they need.
Right. Right.
I mean, what's different about us in Iran versus us in Afghanistan and Iraq? Trump said the
Oh,
quiet part out loud, and even his
mm,
people don't like to hear the quiet part out loud. As
oh,
long as
listen.
it was, if we had been going in to protect the citizens,
hmm
he would have gotten away with it a lot more than when he said, "We're going in to take the oil."
Jeez,
Yeah.
right? Ugh.
The second he said that out loud is when his poll ratings started cratering.
Yeah.
Which is wild because I imagine they were already in the toilet, so like lower than toilet must be pretty
Well,
fucking
no,
bad.
but they were
But
they
yeah.
were low enough that they were essentially only MAGA and hardcore Republicans, and he's now lost the
Hmm.
hardcore Republicans and
Right.
some of the MAGA.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's just one of those
I
things
mean,
where
when you've
like,
got Marjorie Taylor Greene
yeah, that's true.
deciding that, like, but
Hmm.
again, like that's the sort of thing that tells me, like, if there's even one thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene and I can agree on, that says something about America.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
You know, um, like the America that I'm proud of is the America laid out by Lincoln. The America actually put into words in the Declaration and the Constitution, even if we haven't always lived up to them.
Hmm.
You know, it's the America of Eisenhower. It's the America
Yeah.
of Kennedy, you
FDR's
know.
America, yeah.
Um, and
The one
again,
actually fighting the Nazis.
have we actually managed to live up to all of it? No.
I don't feel like in my lifetime, like definitely
But I
not.
don't but I don't think there's any country that's lived up to its best self. And I think we have a higher bar for our best self than most other countries.
Well, I guess the way I'd phrase it is that like if anything, it feels like we're drifting further from those ideals. Like,
It absolutely feels like, I mean, right now,
yeah,
this moment, we are, at least if you look at the people in power, we have
yes,
been hijacked by big money.
yep,
Nothing to argue about there.
no, no
But
argument there.
but at least the ideals are there. I
Yeah,
mean, again, there's something to be said about the fact that the ideals exist. And yeah, I'm worried that we're starting to even lose those, but that to me says that it's time to shout them louder, not
yeah. I
go,
guess
"Oh, I give up on America."
when the literal
At
president,
least unless somebody's got money for me to move to Norway or
yeah, right. I was gonna say
Australia.
when both the president and quite frankly any amount of the Supreme Court are against birthright citizenship, which
Oh
is,
yeah, no, we're in the
like
worst possible
holy,
timeline.
yeah, yeah,
We are.
it's
I like.
we
I
are the
don't want
furthest
anybody to
from
take
our
that wrong.
idealistic
We are
self right
in the
now.
worst possible timeline.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
It's yeah.
praying that it's not one that we can't get out of.
You're right. I hope that we can reforge that American identity and that
All right.
we can find that, that spirit of, hey, we actually do want things to be better for everyone.
But I
And
have
that
I
we can
have
live up to
7 minutes. I have seven
it.
minutes until I get to talk about uh our founding documents. So we got to get through 3 books we hope will be spectacular.
Indeed we
Uh
do.
Heaven from Katie Skelly at Fantagraphics comes out this week. I love Katie Skelly's work. I am so looking forward to this. Forged number 12 from Greg Rucka and Mike Henderson at Image, and Bleeding Hearts number 6 from Dennis Camp and Stippen Morian at DC Vertigo. A book I know is spectacular is the DC middle grade book Lex Luthor Diabolical Genius from Christoph Borgak. Borgarch. He taught me how to pronounce it recently on
Mm.
an episode that will go up probably about the same time this one does. Christoph Borgarch, and Valerio Chiola at DC. Phil, what's your
This was a
all
last
new
minute
giant size trade waiter graphic novel pick?
change up. This is going to be Ladies of the Night by Fiona Marchbank at Oni Press. This is a physical edition of a webcomic that I have been meaning to read for too long, so I'm going to have to read it now, about women in armor who fight. So it's got everything. What more could you want than a romance between women dressed in armor fighting with swords and maces and whatnot. It looks awesome.
Cool,
Her
cool.
art style is fantastic. Yeah, seems like a good one.
All righty. Any
Awesome.
last words, Tyler?
No, no, I am good.
Last words.
Last words. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you after the next page. See ya.